Okay, I'm going to start off on this plaited hair. First thing, I'm going to put down the highlights using my white pencil. In the places that I can see there are white strands of hair. I mean, they are not white, but they are highlight, and where the light has caught with the hair and there is reflection. I'm working on a Strathmore Vellum, which is a smooth surface, and when you are working on a smooth surface, you've got to go from light to dark. I'm using quite a lot of pressure because I'm using my pencil as an indenting or embossing tool, as well as putting down the color, because the lines that I'm putting in, they will actually will stay in when I add the other strands of color. And I keep this quite random, all these strokes, because I want to have a normal appearance of the catch light. If it is regimented and there are too much regularity in these strokes, it's not going to look normal and realistic. So after that, I'm going to move on to my cold grey one in polychromos and just go simply between these strands that I just created with white. And as you can see, it is sitting beautifully between the whites. The point is now to keep the pencil sharp and keep my pressure light, just to go and do this randomly, and I'm going from light to dark. And also the other point, the other trick, is to follow the direction of the hair, as I can see in the reference photo, which follows the plaited hair. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as the reference, but we use the reference as a guide only. So I am building up these hair strands from light color to dark color, and I'm following just the direction of the hair without keeping all the details. This part is the shadow, so I'll be doing that later. Keeping my pressure light now, quite light. Okay, next color is cold grey 3. So I'm only using the grey range in polychromos and some of luminance pencils. As you can see, I'm adding the darker colors gradually. At this point, I'm not concentrating on any particular pattern or any particular place to put the pencil down. I'm just putting them randomly. But when it comes to darker colors, then I'll pay more attention to where I'm putting them, because those would create my shadows. And as you can guess, between the folds of the plait, we get more darker colors, and as it comes to the surface here, it's going to be lighter. So I put more dark colors down here. My pencils are still sharp, but I soon need to sharpen them again because it is a smooth paper and we need sharp pencils. Moving on, this one needs sharpening. Okay, now we get into the darker colors, so I'm just going to stay mainly on the two sides of each plate and pressing very gently. You need to keep it random, keep all your strokes random, so some are longer, some are shorter, some of your strokes are thicker, like this one, and some would be just one line. It's the same as what we see in a normal human hair. The two sides of each plate are darker. So where I put more white at the beginning, it's going to stay lighter. And we need to embrace these happy accidents like this strand, because it will make it really like a realistic hair. Sharpening. Simply go in between all those lines that I've already got here. And I'm not making too much effort to make any decision where I'm going, just maybe staying down here for the darks and around the plate, nothing else. I'm going to go with warm grey 6 now. Warm grey 5 actually. Cold grey 5, not warm, sorry. Trying to keep this really cool. I'm still using gentle pressure because I just want to add pigments without using too much of the tooth of the paper. I still need them. So as I said, the trick for making this realistic is to keep it completely random and go for accidents. Don't keep it regimented at all. Shouldn't be any irregularity here other than the shape of the plate and the direction of the hair. And I'm using the reference as only as a guideline to see which of these parts are darker and which are lighter, just as a guideline, really. See, I just went out of line, but I'm not bothered. I just correct it like that. We are approaching very dark colors now. So the next color that I'm going to use is going to be a dark color because this is built really nicely. So I'm going to use first dark sepia. My dark sepia is very sharp now. Now I'm gonna go deliberately and darken some of these cracks between the hair, like that, and also darken these parts that are between the hair folds, the base of the hair here, where there is a shadow between each fold, and then drag it in, drag the pigments so we have a nice shadow down here. Eventually we're going to get the black out and make it black. For now, dark sepia is our next color because it is on smooth paper. We need to keep everything from light to dark. And the pressure now is about intermediate. So now I'm dealing with the shadows really. So this hair, the color is light color, so it shines. And what we are creating is, all of it is basically with this dark pencil is shadow. They are shadows, they're not the hair color. The hair is light, as I can see it. So we need to create that illusion that this hair is either blonde or light. I think it's blonde. What you just saw me using is a very soft brush, just to it was a soft brush just to get some of the dust away. So I'm going in deliberately. I'm still not following all the details in the reference, but I'm using it as a guide and creating some of these deep shadows. And then this part of the plaited hair, this part is considerably dark, so I'm using my dark sepia to darken this part of the hair. So I'm minimizing the highlight in the middle. But the other colors that I used helps with making this multi color fold, not multicolor, multi-value fold, look more realistic. If we had used only one or two colors, they would not look like this. Okay. This one is particularly dark, light, so I'm just making this line, making some separations, shadowy separations between these hair strands with my dark sepia, but I'm not gonna make this dark strands go too high, so the highlight is gonna stay a bit wider in the middle. This is also a dark part of the hair, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do all these dark strands coming down. These are not dark, these are just in shadow, so when we leave some of these strands light, it will look like that it is a blonde hair in shadow. And a little bit here. And the last but not least, the black. To use the black, but only in very, very depths of these shadows, just to make them distinctive and standing out. Not everywhere. Okay, in here maybe adding a crack there, putting some volume underneath this fold. When you put dark shadows down, you'll add volume. Okay. Okay. There. And some shadow here. Just glazing over this. Okay, so now I'm happy with all these. The next thing is to add some interesting colors to this hair. So I'm going to use some purple because it's a blonde hair. The highlights are going to reflect the sky. So I'm going over the dark parts, just glazing, but I'm not keeping anything in any sort of order. So coming down here. Like that. It just makes it more interesting. You could leave it black and white, but we don't want it black and white, do we? We want it blonde. So this one is the purple. It's a, I think it's called charcoal purple from Luminance. Can't read it really. Didn't read the name, just picked it up. And the next thing I would like to do is to add a little bit of pink to this, for which I'm gonna try colors like the beige and polys in the light parts, not all the way through, just on the edge of the purple. Again, this is to make it more interesting. Okay, now the time is to create some shadows around underneath this plait of hair. I'm going to use black straight away. It's not going to be a very wide shadow, it's just a shadow to make it three-dimensional. Nothing in nature is without a shadow, so if you want to make things pop out of your paper, you need to make a shadow for it. And the shadow usually goes the same shape as the object or the subject. And then you can drag some of this shadow into that hair to make it blend with the shadow. Look like glaze this side of the hair. With the black. Okay. And at the very end, I'm going to get my precision knife out and start making some of these strands, some of these randoms, because let's face it, no one's got such a tidy plait of hair. So we need some of these to have come out and mixed and go on the top of each other like that. Some of them to have gone in the shadow. Some of them to be long, some of them to be short. If I had a background, I would put some going out, but I'm gonna have to make those with darker colors. They don't need to be tidy at all, like that. We can go forever making all these a lot more, but I'm gonna stop. Okay, and then I'm going to get one of the mid-tone greys, the cold grey 2, just go around these, make them slightly more colourful, because our hair colour is not supposed to be white, but there is no real reason. I just thought I would do that. And I'm gonna get the same pencil, sharpen it, and then try to make some of these here going out. Just to make it a bit more realistic. So there we go. Realistic hair, plaited hair in color pencil on Strathmore Vellum paper. Thanks for watching this video.